Ecuador isn't for everybody.
When he first talked about leaving the coast, I didn't want to do it.
It's that whole rat race. Everybody's gonna go. And it's nice to be away from it.
Being a retired woman in your 60s, how do you feel living in Ecuador? Meet Graf and Janet, an early retired American couple who first settled onto Ecuador's coast, then moved to Cotacachi. In this chat, they share what daily life is like, the cost of living, safety for a woman, culture shock when going back to visit the US, and how they care for a variety of animals. But what happened when they first moved here?
Loud music.
Oh, the loud music till 4 or 5 a.m.
And ended up showering at their neighbor's house for 6 weeks.
Plumbing issues, pipes in the walls leaking. It was a disaster.
Stick around to the end to find out the story. I'm Eric. I've been telling expat stories since 2022. Let's jump into it. Okay, so let's get to know you. What are your names and where are you from?
My name's Janet Balda, and I grew up in Northeast Iowa.
Okay, how old are you?
Oh, I'm 62 years old.
And are you still working?
No, I'm actually retired since last July.
Great. And what is your name?
My name's Graf Balda, and I'm 54 years old, retired early, and born and raised in Topeka, Kansas. Both Janet and I moved here from the Kansas City area.
Awesome. And you've been living in Ecuador for how long?
Be 4 years this October.
I finally made it to Cotacachi to be able to in-person chat to Graf and Janet. We're in your house right now, so thanks for inviting me.
A pleasure.
Thanks for showing me around. The place is beautiful. And how much do you pay for this place?
Our rent is $500 a month.
For anyone that hasn't seen their video, check that out here. They talk about how they were not really super satisfied living on the coast and they wanted to leave and come here to where they are now. So tell us, how was your life here in Cotacachi? Let's start with Janet first.
Oh, I actually really love it. And the funny thing is that when he first talked about going to here, leaving the coast, I didn't want to do it. But we made an exploratory trip here and I loved it. So there's a lot more opportunities for social interaction here. Plus a lot more cultural things. So there's a lot of museums in the area and places to go hiking and, just really interesting things to do. So we love it.
So speaking of things to do, we just went to the gringo market. And was there a gringo market back where you were living on the coast?
No, nothing remotely close.
Basically, Manta was the closest place to find some sort of thing similar?
I don't even think Manta has anything comparable to the Gringo Farmers Market here in Cotacachi.
So tell me, what other activities do you do here and what makes Cotacachi so attractive to retirees?
The temperatures are more conducive for going for walks and we've been walking a lot more. I'm able to walk into town and there's different groups I can join. I have been going to an English, Spanish conversation group where we practice. The Ecuadorians here will practice their English and us expats will practice our Spanish. I'm in a crochet group. I'm in a game group, a board game group. So I've made a lot of friends, where on the coast it was more about drinking and partying.
How about for you, Graf? How was the changes from living on the coast to coming here?
Oh, it's been fantastic. It's like night and day. And I find myself doing more things outdoors, a lot more walking. As Janet said, the temperatures here are more conducive to doing things outdoors. That part of it's been great. So, and I like being outdoors. I like working in the yard. And I think where we're at now, the house and location we're at now, fits the bill perfectly. Our walks into town are kind of through the countryside and through some of the indigenous farms and we see cows and horses, goats, sheep, chickens, dogs, and it's a very rural setting, but yet we're only a mile and a half from the town center here.
They call it perpetual spring. It's between 50 and maybe 72 all year round. And it's
always green.
I really like that.
It's always green and lush, and even though this isn't the rainy season right now, we still get rain. Nice little rains, overnight rains, once, twice a week. So everything's always nice and green.
And I love having flowers year-round. I absolutely love that.
If you're enjoying this interview and you're interested in seeing more content like this, you can check out my playlist called the Expat Interview Playlist, where I have been interviewing people from Guatemala all the way down through Central America and and now here in South America. When we met before, there was a lot of negative news. We mentioned how we thought that it was pretty overblown. What have you seen in terms of the perceived violence since we chatted the last time? Did you notice any change in terms of safety since then?
No, as far as gang slash cartel activity, that's pretty non-existent here for many reasons. That's kind of a different topic, but there's petty theft here. We've talked to some expats that have, had their little bodegas broken into and propane tanks, stolen. So there are, there are issues with, I call it petty theft.
And Janet, being a retired woman in your 60s, how do you feel living in Ecuador for all those women that are watching that are not sure about coming down?
I've never felt unsafe here, ever. And I used to, when we were on the coast, I walked on the beach alone, sometimes twice a day for a couple miles. Here, I walk into town alone quite frequently, actually. And there's the indigenous women walking into town in their traditional clothing, and we say buenos dias or buenas tardes to each other and smile. And I've never really felt unsafe here at all. So and I use common sense, of course.
How was it going back home and seeing family and seeing the United States recently on your recent trip?
The cost of things, the cost of living there is incredibly high, much more than, when we used to live there full time. So that's kind of it's kind of a downer. You can't ignore the fact that, 2 movie tickets for a matinee and popcorn are $60. It's hard to not notice that, so to say. I mean, and that's just one little example. Here would probably be $15, equivalent. Yeah, popcorn, couple drinks, and tickets. So it's hard not to notice those things and be somewhat critical of them.
If you're an American or Canadian with aging parents, you know how expensive care can be back home. But what if you could move abroad and have them closer to you at the same time, without sacrificing quality of life or safety? Meet Sandy, who now lives at Club Lomas. What is the name of the place you live in right now?
Club Lomas
At what age did you decide to move down here to Cotacachi?
at 85.
How does it feel living in Ecuador?
A refreshed start, getting good food, absolutely good.
What are your main activities that you do while living here?
I paint, I swim in the pool, I do for long walks.
Doctors coming to
I
check on
have
you?
nurses that come see how we're doing. I have a hospital I can go to. I've already had surgery there.
At Club Lomas in Cotacachi, Ecuador, you'll find a peaceful, private retirement community at around a third the cost of the U.S. options.
Our house here, $500 a month, $2,500 a month, in Kansas City, for example, is what something like this would rent for. In the pace of life, it's that whole rat race. Everybody go. And it's nice to be away from that. So,
since you have turned into a part-time farmer and now you have the full collection of animals inside your town, I just want to get an idea of how much you spend to feed all of these animals here that you're taking care of now.
all of them?
That's right. What would it cost in total to take care of all of them? The nearly dozen cats, the dogs, the goats. What else are there?
Okay.
And the chickens.
And the chicken. Say about $180 a month. And the most expensive things are the big bags of dog food and the big bags of cat food.
What are some good tips that you have for future expats that are thinking about coming down to Ecuador? They don't know South America, they don't know Latin America. Maybe they're still working and they're waiting till that final time to retire.
Number one, come visit. And don't just go to one place. Go to several places to see what you like. What climate do you like? What type of town or city do you like? Do you want to live in the country? Speak to other expats there. Watch Eric's videos. Get as much information about it as possible. Start looking into what do you have to get a visa here. You know, there are several different kinds of visas, and you need to know if you can get one to begin with. When you decide to come, rent. Rent first. You might not like the neighborhood. You might not like how noisy it is. You might not like the house you moved into. So always rent first and get an idea of what you like and what you don't before you buy, before you invest.
I just can't stress enough to visit first, and what Janet said, just get a feel for the community, talk to other expats, do your research very, very thoroughly. It's a huge decision, obviously, probably the biggest one we've ever made to move abroad. And Ecuador isn't for everybody. It's not, it's different.
So going back to the rental part, you guys actually came here to Cotacachi, and this was not the first place that you rented when you came here, correct?
Correct.
What happened with that situation?
So this house wasn't available at the time for various reasons, and so we picked another house. We had made a decision, we're moving to Cotacachi. Now we got to find a place to move to. And the house we picked out, we even flew up here, we looked at it, looked good, this and that. The rental price was good, the terms were good. So we made the moved into it, and it was a disaster. Plumbing issues, pipes in the walls leaking, no hot water. We had to use our neighbor's shower for about 6 weeks.
Loud music till 5 a.m.
Loud music till 4 or 5 a.m. Every other night. It was a pretty rough start.
I want to say thank you so much for not only inviting me to come visit you in Cotacachi and stay at your place, but also giving everyone some valuable information and what it's really like to live here and your perspective and insights on that. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Eric. Pleasure having you here.
Good to have you.